Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Writing with Miss Anjos and Khaleesi. All right, now before we move into the lesson, I do have a quick announcement. So the first grade team is asking you, yes, you, and your families to either send a comment below, a text, or an email to any of the first grade teachers. That's myself, Miss Anjos, Miss Rely, Mr. Skyer, Miss McGuad, and Miss Vargas. And we're going to choose someone from each class to have a video chat with 3 friends any day of the week. We're going to make that happen just for you. But we want to see your hard work. So we're asking you to send a comment, a text, or an email to any of those first grade teachers with proof of your hard work. Now, we know you're doing it, but because we can't be there with you in person to see it, we want to be able to share and shout you out for it. All right, and we want you to be excited and proud of all the learning you've been doing. Okay, now moving into today's writing lesson. Today is writing day 5, and today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. So we are going to make sure we have all of our materials. So right now, check if you have your writing packet and a sharpened pencil so we can get through the whole lesson nice and smooth. And I'm going to show you exactly what the prompt looks like for those of you accessing this on the computer at home. All right. For those of you that have the packet and the pencil, go ahead and take those things out. Okay, for those of you accessing this at home, you're going to follow me. So we are in the Google Drive Distance Learning Materials folder right now. You're going to go to first grade because, again, that is still us. You're going to go to writing. Now, I want you to look carefully. I want you to pick which plan you're going to use. Miss Andrews is going to use a web today. So I want you to choose which one works best for you. There's the web, which looks like this. And then there's a box and bullet that looks like this. And there is a similar box and bullet, but with handwriting without tears line. So go ahead and pick which planning page you're going to use. You're only using one. How many are we using, everyone? That's right, 1. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to go to argument prompts because today we are writing another opinion. So you're going to go right to argument prompts. And you're going to go to where it says 324 because that's today's date. And you're going to click on the prompt that says, should kids have more or less recess? Ooh, another loaded, good, juicy question. Now, I may not have shown it in the other videos, but I want you to know that this is your title page. Now, the same way we do it in class, you can write the title down here. You can draw a picture that matches your opinion on where you stand. That is going to come after you finish your writing. You can use that and celebrate. Now, your prompt should look like this. It is the 4th prompt in that writing packet. So I'll give you time to go ahead and make sure you are on the right page. All right, everyone. So today we're writing an opinion, and we know that when we write an opinion, we are writing about how we feel about something, and we are trying to convince others why what we feel is correct. When we have an opinion, we are deciding which side we're going to stand for. You can agree with something, you can disagree with something, or you could take sides of the question, which will be the case in our question today. So let's read it together. Should kids have more or less recess? Now, for this question, you could either stand on the side of, yes, kids should have more recess. Or you could say, kids should have less recess. Or you could even argue that you disagree with either of these and that maybe it should just stay the same as it is now. Now, whichever one you end up choosing, It is going to be what you feel, and that's what's going to make it great. So go ahead and choose what side you're going to stand on, because then we're going to come up with our reasons to back up where we stand. Now remember, an opinion is the opposite of a fact. Okay? So I am going to choose that kids should have more recess. Okay? Some of you may agree with me, and some of you may not, but that is where I stand. So as I write mine in the middle of my web, I want you to take this time and write yours too. So in this web, I'm writing where I stand, which is also my topic sentence. A reminder, my topic sentence is short, sweet, and clear. Kids should have more recess time. Boom. That's how I feel. It's short, it's to the point, and people know exactly where I stand. All right. Now, because I feel this way, now I have to convince the readers of why. So as I'm thinking of my reasons, I want you to think about why you feel the way you do. Put yourself in the shoes of the question, which should be wonderful because you guys are all kids. So I can't even wait for you guys to share your work because you guys are in the question. When I think about why kids should have more recess, I think that it would keep them more active, which would make their health better, which makes them live longer, it makes them have a better life, and that is very important to Miss Andros. So I'm going to write that first. And as I write my first reason that's going to convince people why kids should have more recess, you are writing your first reason. Think about why you feel so strongly about the way you feel. Okay, now remember, in my web, whether you chose a web, a box and bullet, in my plan, I never write out the whole sentence. I just write something short that I'm going to stretch out later in my writing. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my second reason. When I think about kids having more recess, I think about they'll just have more time to play, to think, to use their imagination, okay? Which are all things that kids should and need to be doing. More time for kids to think, play, use their imagination, all right, go ahead and finish up your reason two in that bubble. Again, this is a reminder, you are not writing a sentence, you are just writing short, sweet notes to help you stretch out those reasons in your writing later. I'm gonna push this back so you can see it a little better. Here we go. Oh, already so much better. Okay. Now, we can't just convince people with one or two reasons. A solid argument always has at least 3 strong reasons, but in this case, we are going to do 4 because we are just that brilliant. Okay, so when I think of my third reason, I think of it as like a break. If kids are going to school for at least 9, 10 hours a day, having more recess time would give them a break to focus their attention so when they come back into the classroom, they can do a better job learning, which is very important. So I'm going to write that down now. As I write mine, you write yours. Now, for those of you who chose a box and bullet, you are all set. But for those of you who chose the web, my friends, we are going to continue with that last reason right here. So push yourselves to think, what is one last reason you feel as strongly as you feel right now? I know for me, I think kids really should have more recess time because having no structure at least one point in the day gives them more freedom. In the world we live in today, there's just always so much going on, and I think it's good for kids to just be. So, I'm going to say no structure equals freedom. Now, those are my thoughts, and I want you to think, are my reasons convincing enough? Look at your web, or your box and bullet, or your handwriting without tears plan, whichever one you chose, and think, if I were a stranger and picked this writing up off the street, would I be convinced of whichever side you were standing on when it comes to this question? Take some time and do that now. Now, as you do that, I'm going to get our writing set up. All right, friends, and we are back. So, as you can see, I have my plan with me, and I have my lines chart paper. You should have your plan with you. Rip it off your packet. If you're accessing this online, you should pull it into a separate screen and pull up your prompt, which has the lines. Go ahead and do that now. Okay. Now, our plan is here to help us drive our writing forward. Now, we know when we write our argument, we are always starting with our topic sentence. Now, I'm taking my topic sentence right from the center of my web because that is the heart of where I stand on this prompt. So you're going to do that same thing. As I write mine, you are going to write yours. Here I go. Kids should have more recess time. Okay, that's my topic sentence. Yours should be straight to the point, just like mine. People should know just from reading it. It's time for a movement break. Woo! All right, so for this movement break, we are going to learn a cheer that we do in Unicamp, but actually applies to all of you scholars out there. So you're going to repeat after me. Ready? It goes to the Don't Start Now song by Dua Lipa. So it goes, don't give up, don't stop now. Just keep growing and learning, that's right. Try your best, you know how. Just keep growing and learning, that's right. At Brook, do-do-do. At Brook, do-do-do-do-do. At Brook. All right, now we're going to try it with instrumentals. You ready? I'll still be saying the words with you. Now make sure you're stretching those arms, legs, and making sure you're getting in the zone to channel your inspiration for writing. All right, here we go. Don't give up, don't stop now. Just keep growing and learning, that's right. Try your best, you know how. Just keep growing and learning, that's right. Ooh, ooh. At Brook, we are learning. At Brook, we are learning. All right, that felt good to me. I'm ready to get back into writing. Here we go. Where I stand on the issue. Okay, so now I'm going to move into my reasons. So I'm going to take my first one right over here. You're going to do that same thing. You're going to take one of your reasons and you're going to start what are some words that you can use to start with? We learned you can write first, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say first. And I'm going to repeat where I stand on the issue. So first, with more recess time, because again, I want to be convincing. Kids would be more active, which would improve their health. That's my first reason. It's going to make their health better. I know that when someone reads this, they're thinking, what? Who wouldn't want someone's health to be better? Okay. Go ahead and finish up your first reason, and then we'll move into our second. Okay, now as we write our second reason, we could write second, we could write next, we could write also. So I'm going to start with also. And again, I'm repeating this line because I want to be convincing. You could do the same thing, or you could do it, you could switch the order of it, whatever feels right to you. Also, with more recess time, and I'm going to look back at my web at my second reason, and it says more time for kids to think, play, and use their imagination. Okay? So, when I think of those things, what does it remind you of? Kids just being kids. So, I'm going to say that. With more recess time, kids would have time to think, play, and use their imagination. They would have time to just be kids. What's greater than that, right? Appreciating you for who you are. Okay. Take the time to finish your second reason. Okay. As I move into my third reason, I can start with a transition word like third or next. I could say also, or I could just start with where I stand on the issue, which is what you could do too. So I am going to say, with more recess time. Now notice, the deeper I get into my argument, I'm becoming more and more direct. I'm just going right to where I stand and why. With more recess time, I look to my plan. It says, like a reset, more attentive and better performance. Kids And as I write my third reason, you're writing yours. So what I meant by that was that kids would have a break to shift their focus and their attention so that when they come back to class, they would learn better. Kids would have a break to reset their focus and attention so they can learn better in the classroom. And notice you're taking these and you're just like framing them into sentences. Okay? Go ahead and finish up your reason 3. Okay, we are on our last reason. For those of you at home that did a box and bullet, you do not have this. If you would like to push yourselves and challenge yourselves for that last reason, you can. Otherwise, for those of you who use the web like myself, we're going to go off of that. Now, if you notice, my last reason on my web was that no structure equals the freedom to problem solve. And what I mean by that is when they have the ability to just be, more recess would give them time to solve problems with classmates outside, figure out how to get to solutions together without someone telling them what to do. And that, there are some moments like that that you just can't teach in the classroom. Sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. So, I'm going to say, I could say lastly, I could say finally, or a final, right? Or in conclusion, but I'm going to choose finally. I'm going to say finally, and again, I'm convincing, so I'm staying with my point, with more recess time. Kids would have more freedom, and I say more because they have some of it now, especially at Brooke. We already have 2 recesses a day, which is awesome, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. More freedom to problem solve with their classmates. Some things you can learn outside the classroom. Some things you can learn outside the classroom. All right, finish up your 4th reason if you had one. If you didn't, and you challenged yourself to do one, awesome. If you didn't, that's okay. We are going to bring it all back to our topic sentence and our argument about where we stand. And we're going to sandwich it. So I'm going to say, in conclusion, and I'm reminding the reader of where I stand, kids should have more recess time. You're writing yours now. Have more okay. This is my writing. I'm going to hold it up nice and close so you could see it. Maybe you can pause on your screen so you can like actually read it. Okay? Now, when you finish all your reasons, I want to make sure that you are remembering the writing process, which means that you are checking for capitals. Where? That's right. At the beginning of a sentence, at proper nouns, if you used any, you're going to make sure that there's punctuation at the end of each sentence or where it's needed. Okay? You're going to make sure your heart words are all spelled correctly. You're going to make sure there are finger spaces. And lastly, you're going to make sure that your writing makes sense. You can share with the person next to you. You can read it out loud. You could have a family member record a video of you. You can share it to one of the teachers on the first grade team. Okay? All right. So that was our opinion question for today. We'll definitely have more coming for you, but that is all for today, everyone. Thank you for joining us for writing. Again, remember, writing is a process. All right. Until next time.